All right, we are back to working on this 9320. We have went ahead and loosened up all of the bolts around the end of that hub. Actually removed the bolts. We did it the same way on the other side. Go ahead and whack that axle, Nate. Just trying to get that inner wedge to loosen up. We might have to put one of the bolts back in and hit on the bolt to knock. There she goes. We've got that broke free. Now we'll just wrap a chain on there and we'll pull the wheel right off of the axle. Now we can get this lowered down on jack stands and start working on getting the axle out. Right, Nate? Yeah. Try to back up. Maybe it'll skim fire. Lift up a little bit. Yeah. Alright, turn your rear end that way. Keep going, you're alright. Alright, just lift up a little higher, we'll pull them parts off. Actually, you're hitting the axle, there you go. We'll pull them parts off and put it back together. You gotta pull ahead a little more. I gotta get this axle cleared. Well, we've got this wheel here removed. We've got it on jack stands in the back, which I don't like that. That's working, but we need to cut some blocking to get up front here to put a couple of jack stands there as well. And we've gained a couple of other projects here. This is the 8120, 8220, and the 8320 that we have, we ended up replacing the hood on that because all of them crack. Just like that. This one is cracked on this back side, and it is cracked over here on the left side. And Jay is going to use some 3M panel bonding material to get this all kind of put back together and strengthened so that we don't have to put $5,000 hoods on these two tractors. This tractor here we bought from my uncle. It's only got like, I don't know, 56 or 700 hours on it. However, it has an oil leak. We're assuming it's a brake line right on the top of the transmission, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull the dual off this side here and move the inner wheel out so that we can get in there to work on it. So it's all tight because it's set up for 30-inch rows here. Well, Sarge has got the oil leak figured out on this, and it is one of the, it's kind of like a hydraulic controller for the seat. Sits right in there. Had an O-ring bad, we're thinking anyways. So he's got that O-ring replaced, and Jason's working on these hoods. He's just using that 3M stuff, getting it in the cracks, getting things fixed up. He's only had one crack to do on this 8220 hood, but this 8120 had a couple of cracks on this side. We got this guy using the front weights for a lunch picnic table. And he's got this left side in pretty good shape here. And Jared's in the tank painting. So on this 9320, we've got everything kind of secured up front, all safe-like. Nate's got the front differential, he's got the drive shaft unhooked. We've got to pull this Degelman blade bracket. We've got all the bolts out of it. We'll do the same to the other side. And then we can wheel the gantry over here, get the axle suspended from chains, and then unhook the oil lines and the brake lines and everything like that to that axle. Let it down a little bit, make sure we've got everything unhooked, and then continue to drop it to the floor. What do you think, Nathan? I don't know. Now we are ready to lift this bracket off. We gotta hurry up and get this off of there so that we can bring the wheel in for Sarge. This one seems to be stuck on there. Alright, we've got this other blade bracket off of there. We're just going to clean up some dirt and stuff that has accumulated behind these brackets. We got Sarge's tire on. We kind of need another forklift. We're going to drain the oil out of the transmission, get our gantry set up, unhook the rest of the stuff on this front differential. All that we have holding this in is a couple of bolts on each side, and then we'll be able to drop that down out of there. I don't think we were going to leave this bracket on there for now and then take it off in there after it was upside down, just so that we weren't fighting with it the way it is right now. So I think we can go with that plan anyways. Well, we've got everything unhooked on this front differential. We're going to leave the lower blade mounts on there for now. We've got 2 bolts holding each side. So we'll loosen them up. We'll get one side loose, go over to the other side, take that side out, and then come back over to the other side, take that side out, and then we'll slowly lower that down onto the floor. And then once it's down on the floor, we'll get the gantry out of the way and we can use the forklift to drag it out from underneath the tractor. So, might as well get the big gun going, right, Nathan? All right, we've got one bolt in there. It's setting down on the chains. Because we have those blade brackets on there and they're probably heavier on one end because it's longer than the other, we don't want this to roll in there right away. So I've got the forklift on the other side and we're going to kind of guide it down with the forklift as well as setting it down with the chain falls so that it doesn't roll completely over while it's still in under the tractor. right, we've got that down out of there. Now we're just gonna move this gantry out of the way, wrap a chain on it and drag it out into the floor here and roll it over somehow, get them blade brackets off of there, and then we can unbolt the final drive and pull it apart. Well, we've got the lower blade mounts off of the front differential. I've got the bottom bolts removed and the top bolts. Now I've just got a couple on each side to take out, and then we'll be able to pull this final drive off of the differential. All right, we've got this one side apart. This is actually the left side here. And the brake disc has got quite a bit of wear to it, but it doesn't, you know, it's not right down to the metal. But actually you could see that it is wore pretty good. But like I was saying, it's not right down to the metal like we've seen on a couple of the other tractors. So we're gonna set these parts out of the way. We'll put this final drive down there, and then we're gonna swing around to the other side here. We're gonna actually have to set the whole differential case on the floor. I had it up on blocks so I could drain it into the tub there, but it just didn't want to set all that well. So let's get this off, setting on the floor, and then we can come over and grab that other side there. Well, now we're getting ready to pull this right side apart. Got the left side off, and we'll see what this looks like. Well, this side is wore right out, right down to the metal. Looks like it's had some excessive heat buildup in this piston as well. And then there is a large, awful large deposit of metal right here. All metal. So we had been plugging filters on this tractor as well, and we'll have to flush the system out like we plan on doing anyways. But that is metal that came from the actual pressure plate itself. We've got not much material left on the inside of the brake disc. The other side is right down to the metal. So we are in desperate need of some brakes here. So we've got a heck of a mess on the floor here. Kaz is going to actually come over and help us do the bearings on the final drive, being that this tractor's got the amount of hours that it's got on it. And all of this material here has kind of been going through everything. They figured that we should do the bearings on it. Now, the reason why they're coming over is they have a stand to put that final drive in to be able to preload that axle assembly correctly. And they also are putting this on a winter program, and this tractor's in on an inspection program, so we are going to be able to get a discount on the parts that are going into it. There's some miscellaneous bolts that we're going to end up replacing that you normally don't have to replace, and those are the bolts that go in on the actual dual hubs. So we'll get this differential case moved out of the way, hopefully get it up in the air so that we can get this oil mess cleaned up. And this is where we're going to leave off with this part of the video. It's the end of the day here anyway. And what I can do tomorrow, I don't know if they can come over here tomorrow and help us with these bearings or not, but we could start, well, I've already started tearing apart this rear end so that we can get it ready to go here next. We've got to pull the rear fender assembly. And one other thing that I had forgotten about on this tractor, we thought it needed a heater core last year, and we got into it, and all it was is it had a blown hose. So I had sent the heater core back, and lo and behold, I think we were about 3 weeks into this spring here, and the heater core actually went on the damn thing. So it does need a heater core replaced as well. The lines going to the heater core are right there. We've got 5/8 bolts stuffed into them, zip tied out of the way. We just unhooked the heater core and went without. So we've got some cleanup to do on this, got some cleanup to do on the floor, and that is gonna do it for this video. They did get the hoods patched on both of these, the 81 and the 8220. They put an inner patch on this hood, inner patch on that one, patched the cracks, and that's good. We're hoping we have the oil leak fixed on this. One other thing I wanted to show you, we ended up having to put new axles in this tractor because we broke them. Now this is an 8120 rather, and it's got 100mm axles. You can see the size of that axle. And then this 8220 is just one size bigger tractor wise, and it's got the 110mm axles in it. So it's got a larger axle in it. It's the same size axle that this 9320 has in it. So that's gonna do her. Jared's got his painting just about done as well, and I think he's done in here. Yeah, he's got that all painted there as well. So that's gonna do her, folks. Take her easy, and we will catch you at the next one. Thanks again for watching.